Hey everybody. Um yeah, there's definitely some truth to that. Tears in the night, but joy comes in the morning. Um this morning I've had actually a series of epiphanies um that have cleared up a couple things for me, I've been hung up on this whole breakup and my ex, and this is going to be the last time that I talk about it. Well, not total, but this is the last time I'm going in depth. Because I realized I'm giving her what she wants. I'm giving her the attention. I'm staying focused on her. Where your attention goes, your intention follows, and you have to live intentionally. She is no longer my intention. She was. I gave her first pick. I was absolutely ready to make her the center of my world, and she rejected it. That's acceptance. There's nothing I can do about it. I gave it my best. I proved to her. I showed her every way that I was able and willing to change, and she refused to reciprocate. I was ready to step forward. I finally got myself to a place in my head where I'm ready to take life by the horns. And I think that's what scared her away, because I in order to do that, I couldn't be a puppet anymore. I couldn't be that puddle on the floor that she wanted to keep me as. And that's why she let me go. It's not anything that I did wrong. It's because I'm starting to do things right. That was divine intervention that broke us apart. I'm slowly learning, to not make certain information public before certain things happen. So I don't want to say too much, but it's looking like in about a month from now that finances are not going to be an issue the way they have been. Because I've got a couple irons in that fire, and a couple I've already gotten positive feedback on. And and I know that was one of the focuses, but guess what? Too late. I made the decision the other night. I kept flip flopping in my head, and it's crazy because, again, this is what happens when a narcissist projects onto you. All that social anxiety I had, that wasn't mine, that was hers. When I broke the connection between her and I, all that went away. The depression, again, that wasn't me, that came from her. These were all the things that she was trying to hide. This is what a narcissist is. This is what they do. And they come in and they ruin lives, and they move on and go to the next. I know some people roll their eyes, but it really is, like an energy vampire kind of situation. Because they don't have the emotional capacity to be what they need to be. So they hook themselves up with somebody that does have that. I've said one of my gifts is when spirit flows through me, I can absolutely speak life into people. And that's what I did to her. And that's what boosted her ego so big. So I was my own demise. Again, accountability. Nothing I can do to change it. Accountability is really a superpower, folks. And I'll tell you another revelation I had. I've been doing all this study. I've been, getting to know narcissists, the tactics, how they work. How there was that slow breakdown of my sense of self to make me weak so I would be controllable. And I realized I've done this before. I've broken free of that grip before. Guess what? That's how quick it is. Once you go through this process and you've done certain things a couple times, you can make things flip in an instant. You just have to come to the right conclusion. I had another limiting belief. that I finally got rid of today. You know, and that's another thing that ties into the whole finance thing, is I've been under the impression my whole life, you know, the only way, you know, you're going to accrue a good amount of money is by doing shady things. And that's a fallacy. That's not true. Because if God wants you to have resources, you will have resources. And I got work to do, so that means I'm going to need some resources. And I have full trust in the plan. Because again, I'm getting my head back on straight. I am taking my focus. You know, I've been wasting all this time, you know, putting my attention, my focus on this woman that could care less about me. And instead of doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing, I've been focused on that. And that's where the punishment has been coming from, because I've been disobedient. You know, I've been wallowing in my own self-misery over things that I can't do anything about. I've done everything I can do. And I need to quit beating myself up over it. Because I know what she is. I know how she operates. I know that it's not going to change. So why am I putting my attention on trying to fix something that I didn't break? Something that I'm the only one that wants fixed. Why waste the energy? Why waste the time? Why waste the focus? So I'm done. You know, I was holding out hope. Again, going back to what I was saying about being wishy-washy. I was holding out hope that she would, you know, swallow her pride just once. And show some accountability so we can move forward. And guess what? That window closed. The minute I realized, you know, I missed the opportunities to go to those graduations, that proved to me, like, no matter what, if she comes up later, it's only because I'll be making money at that point. It's not going to be because she wanted this to work. Because if she wanted this to work, she would have showed up. She would have taken that step and joined me for church to see what I've been up to show an interest in what I've been doing. She would have showed up to make sure that I was able to be there for those kids. Because again, you know, regardless of how I feel about them, I have no claim to them. So it really is out of my hands. It's entirely in hers. So all these times that she's been blaming me for not stepping up, it's because you wouldn't let me. It's because you kept pushing me away. And those are the facts. Every time I tried to stand up and do the right thing, she knocked me right the hell back down. Because again, that's how they operate. That's what they want. They want to be in full control. They want to have a narrative so that they can discard whenever they feel like. And that's exactly what happened. And yeah, you know what? Accountability is I played right the hell into it. But again, I heal well. You're only getting it over on me once. I am not going back to that. And I'm wiser so it won't happen again. Because again, you know, the whole point of this is to move forward, to heal, to grow, and operate in love so you can make better choices and get better outcomes. You know, one of the discussions her and I had was about breaking cycles. And again, the way to break a cycle is to heal. So you're not making the same choices over and over again. And again, I displayed her. That's what that last weekend was about. I poured everything I had into showing her just exactly how serious I was, ready to be. And anything she tuned out, is exactly that, what she chose to tune out. And again, as much as it sucks, there's not a damn thing I can do about it. I did my part. So I'm going to quit hanging up and giving my attention to something that never cared to give me enough. It is time to move forward. You know, I was being a hypocrite. I was clinging to that past. I was hoping against hope. And again, that's why I kept watching the videos, because I had to wait till it sank in. Quit chasing things that don't want to be chased. You know, I used to think that was the game, that's what she wanted. She wanted me to chase. And that's what would make her happy. But the more I chased, the more she pulled away. And that's all this whole relationship was a game. I'm not here to play games. I'm here to end the games. And it's time to get serious. And again, that was one of those epiphanies. You know, the way I broke free, you know, what this whole series is about, breaking free from what so many people call the Matrix. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between narcissistic abuse and the way the Matrix operates, or at least the way people understand it. That's why I say I've done this before. And as soon as that realization kicked in, so, I'm going to stand by what I said yesterday. I am going to take a couple days, or I at least try to, unless I get, you know, a call to do a transmission here. Because I got work to do. I got to clear my space out. I've got, you know, Thursday I have an outing to get something taken care of. But yeah, again, it's about that intention. I've been sitting here wallowing. I've been taking my time, you know, letting this project take longer than it should. I mean, it's a big project, but I'm making it take longer than it should, because I'm sitting here getting stuck in my head thinking about things that I have no business thinking about anymore. Again, when that rejection came, that's the off switch. That's not me being cold. That's me accepting. I was not going to be chosen. I'm not anybody's choice. And that's okay, because I'm not meant to be. I got work to do. And once that work is done, I have the faith that the reward will come, whatever it is. But I got to get focused. I've wasted enough of my life, you know, trying to make something work that was never meant to. Yeah. So yeah, folks, that's where we're at. I want you to go back, you know, because I know I've been doing a lot of these, and I know the talks have surpassed the work. Like you should still be in the journal phase right now. So that's going to kind of work out while I take a few days break to try and get some stuff done. I want you guys to work on that, work on the roots, work on the fundamentals, because it's important. Excuse me. Still working on clearing out. That's the other thing. The vices, that's going good. I got this. I'll do a little plug here. I got this thing. It's not quite a vape. It's not nicotine, but that's why, you know, there was that sound in my cough, because it's helping me not only with the cigarette urges, but it's also cleaning out my lungs at the same time to repair the damages I did. I've had a couple other vices that I've been trying to let go of, and I haven't touched either in a couple days. One isn't one I'm trying to give up. One is one I'm just trying to keep under control. Because it does have a positive influence on me, but only when I use it, not abuse it. But I am on track. I just got to keep myself in the right headspace, and that's the problem, is I've been letting this stuff distract me. And again, that's that victim mentality, That's that, oh, I was a victim of narcissist abuse. I can take the easy road and say this is the problem. Yeah, no, bullshit. That has never been me, and that'll never be me. Yeah, it happened. But that's the point. I can't change it. I can't do anything about it. All I can do is process it and keep it moving. And I really, I think that's why I was called at this time to do this, so people could see this in real time. I am who I say I am. I'm hard-headed, and it might take me a little while to get these concepts figured out for myself, but once I do, I'm ready to share them. And I really hope, people are taking notes, because it will change your life. Anywho, I'm over time, but that was my message. So, again, spend the next couple days getting things in order. Gonna move on with a few things. But please, take heed. Dive into the work. Go back. Sharpen your skills. Just because you've done some of the exercises doesn't mean they're done. You still got to sharpen your skills from time to time. I'm getting ready to start a new journal myself. I decided that the other day, that I'm at a part where I got to kind of restart a few things. But it's not a burden, it's an opportunity, because now I can come back even better. As good as I am right now, I can get better and better and better. And that's what you got to keep in mind. You can't let outside people influence you and limit you. She wants to tell me I'm not good enough? Fine. That's your perception. That's not my reality. And I am done letting it put me in that place and limit me. You had your chance to take a part in this journey, this destiny, what I am doing. And you chose cowardice. You chose to be afraid. You chose to cling to your victimhood. And that's not talking somebody down. Those are facts. That is acceptance. I tried. I did. I poured everything I had into it to show her it's safe. You can be yourself around me. If there's something you want to change, I will be here. I will help you change it. And again, it was rejected. That's where it falls, alphabetically. Now that's filed under a you problem, not me. So now you get to see in real time how, you've got to be your own cheerleader, your own motivational speaker, because guess what? Nobody else in this world really wants to do it for you. Even the people that care about you. And here's another realization I've had. Even the people that care about you, even if they want to see you succeed and they do want to give you constructive criticism and help you move forward, that's fantastic. But they can't do it 24/7. All they can do is point you in the right direction. You got to have the motivation to do it yourself. I say it all the time. You can't save anybody. We all have to save ourselves. We all have to do the work. And I keep getting stuck, being a hypocrite, thinking, hey, I could have saved her. No, the hell I couldn't have. There wasn't a damn thing more that I could have done than I already did. Not to say that I'm perfect and I'm without fault in all this, because again, that was the discussion. That's the point, is I'm showing what I can change. I've spent so much time being talked down to and told that I can't do it. And, I still remember back in the day when I was, an EMT. That's how long ago. You're talking I was 17, 18 at the time. And someone had made a comment to me about not being able to do one-handed push-ups. And the next day I dropped and did 10. Don't tell me I'm not going to do something, because all that does is fuel me to do it. And if you've been paying attention, you would have known that. But you chose not to. Now you get to watch. And I'm not doing this, spitefully. I'm doing it to prove a point. And again, that's why the timing, God's time, lines up. People can sit there and laugh and say, oh, he's talking out his ass. Go ahead. Keep that belief, because people have underestimated me my entire life. I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me. It used to, when I needed validation. But again, I now get signs. I get it direct from source. God shows me all the time when I'm doing right, and he shows me when I'm doing wrong. That's how I know to correct. That's how I know how to step. That's how I know how to operate in this lifetime. Anywho, take care of yourselves. Try and take care of each other, and I'll catch you in the next one.